Halo Fispania, kali ini saya akan mereview tentang video dari Jeremy Ethier tentang 5 kesalahan umum dalam latihan bicep atau biceps. Latihan lengan ini ternyata Anda harus perhatikan beberapa kesalahan umum yang sering tanpa disadari dilakukan oleh para fitness sehingga perkembangan otot mereka tidak maksimal atau bahkan tidak ada sama sekali. Jadi mari kita lihat apa sih 5 kesalahan umum ini yang diutarakan oleh Jeremy Ethier ini. Mari kita sama-sama simak videonya ini yang telah kami sematkan dengan teks bahasa Indonesia.
All be quickly fixed with simple tweaks in your form. You can easily tell if your front delts are taken over if your elbows move forward as you curl, although a few degrees of movement is normal and expected during a curl since the biceps also weakly assist in shoulder flexion. Once it becomes excessive is when it becomes a major problem since it takes tension away from the biceps. So what you want to do instead is lower the weight and ensure that you're keeping your elbow locked in place and pinned to your side throughout the curl like so, which will allow your biceps to take on almost the entire load and minimize the involvement of the front delts. Another option if you're still struggling with this is to perform the curl with your back and elbows against the wall, which will physically force your elbows to stay locked in place. The next muscle, the upper traps, is a little more subtle to catch but is just as common. You can tell if your traps are taking over the curl if you're shrugging your shoulders up towards your ears every time you curl. This once again takes a lot of the tension away from the biceps and is an indication that you should probably lower the weight. Instead, you want to depress your traps by bringing your shoulders down and away from your ears before your curl, and keep them in this depressed position throughout the movement. Doing so will instantly shift a lot of the tension back to the biceps. And finally, letting your forearms take over happens when you flex your wrists as you curl the weight. This not only shifts tension away from the biceps, but also puts your wrists at a mechanical disadvantage. Instead, you want to keep the wrists in a neutral or slightly extended position to both increase wrist stability and place more tension on the bicep. As mentioned in my biceps peak video, a partial range of motion can be used to target specific regions of the biceps. Generally, you want to use a full range of motion to optimize overall development of the biceps. This is because several studies have favored the use of full range of motion over partial range of motion for both strength and muscle growth. For example, one 2012 study by Pinto and colleagues found that in 40 male subjects, using a full range of motion during the biceps curl led to significantly greater growth of the biceps and a 25% increase in strength as opposed to just 16% in the partial range of motion group. You can implement this when curling by contracting the triceps at the bottom of every rep to ensure that the biceps are fully lengthened before each rep, which will also help maximize biceps recruitment in the following rep due to the concept of reciprocal inhibition. The previous tip will dramatically improve the tension placed on the biceps. It's also important that you actually feel and focus on the biceps working during your exercises. And yes, this will make a huge difference in your growth. For example, one very recent 2018 study by Schoenfeld and colleagues found that subjects who use this mind to muscle idea by focusing on squeezing the biceps during each rep of a curl experience almost double the muscle growth in their biceps compared to subjects who were instructed to just simply get the weight up. So instead of just trying to curl the weight up, you need to focus on really feeling the biceps working, which often will require you to set your ego aside and lighten the weight that you use. And one helpful cue to think about as you curl is to think about squeezing the bar into your body. So think about squeezing your biceps to move the bar towards your body as opposed to thinking about just simply lifting the weight. Doing so will help enhance the contraction of your biceps during each.
Semoga ini bermanfaat. Saya Joe Puafu. Setuju kan bahwa hidup kita ini adalah pilihan. Kita mau enak di depan atau mau enak di belakang? Ya. Kita mau makan kita bisa bebas makan sesuka apa saja, kita bisa hidup seperti apa, hidup sesuka kita. Tetapi ingat, kita tidak bebas dari konsekuensinya. Jadi kita tetap harus melakukan investasi karena investasi yang terbaik adalah investasi terhadap diri kita sendiri, baik itu investasi yang baik ataupun yang buruk. Kita tidak mungkin membayar orang melakukan push up atau squat atau pull up, tetapi kita yang mendapatkan ototnya. Jadi kita yang harus melakukan kepada diri kita sendiri. Selain itu, kekuatan dan kesehatan mental kita ternyata dipengaruhi oleh kekuatan fisik. Jadi kita harus melatih fisik kita supaya kita bisa mengatasi segala masalah dan tantangan dalam hidup kita. Saya Joe Puanfu bersama BINARAGA.NET. Kami mengajak Anda membangun generasi baru yang lebih cerdas, fit, dan tangguh. Di BINARAGA.NET, kami selalu percaya bahwa setiap orang pasti bisa memiliki tubuh yang ideal dan sehat. Dengan subscribe, like, dan share video ini, Anda turut membantu membangun Indonesia sehat dan kuat. Salam jelas fitness, saya JP.